Okay, welcome back, everyone. Today is day 6. Day 6, we are coming along. There's some good depth that's happening. Still not sure where it's going yet, so just making marks. Let's look at where we landed from yesterday. This white high flow kind of picked up some of the undercolor that wasn't dry, which I love. So I love that. Titanium white has a tendency to be a very cool, cold white. It's not my favorite, but it can be a great go-to to add contrast, especially if you can pull up some of the other colors. This kind of bled into this little area here that did some dripping, which looks kind of groovy in there. I covered up that bluey part that I liked with this pink bubblegum part. That's okay. Still have some of these other layers that are in there kind of shining through, and some of that high flow came out as dots. So that's kind of where we are right now. Let me just spin this around. I haven't done that today. I don't like the fact that this shape and that shape are in line with each other, and that they're very kind of similar in size. Like I made a comment yesterday that kind of looked like a face, like two eyes, and I'm like, I'm not loving that. So I'll want to change that up at some point. I do really like this contrast in here. I kind of like this orientation too. The swirling motion, circles, I don't know, that's just what my body wants to do right now. Not like 100% in love with the color combo. I did mix up some gray. So before I go back, what I did, and this looks crazy and not all of this is wet. So I made a neutral from the cobalt turquoise and the pyrrole red with a little bit of yellow and some white. And I moved to a heavy body white. What I'm noticing, so this is the gray right here. What I'm noticing is I'm really wanting to dig into the texture. What I love about oil and cold wax, or one of the many things I love about oil and cold wax, is you can build layers up and create texture that way. And you can also carve into, like, encaustic and excavate layers that are underneath. And I'm really craving that experience with this piece. And so in the back of my head, I'm like, I want to start bringing in more heavy bodies, maybe pull in some gel medium, and see if I can start to get some of that. I don't know that I'll get there today, but that's sort of what's been playing around in my head. Like, I kind of want to bring out some different acrylic mediums in here to recreate, again, what was my intention for this piece: discovery and play. So it's almost like, I wonder, could I get a similar effect with acrylic that I get in oil and cold wax and love? And you know what, as I say that, give me 1 second. I'm going to step away and grab some gel and come back. F it, let's do it. Okay, so I pulled out some heavy gel. This is gloss, which isn't my favorite, but it doesn't matter because I can varnish this at the end and make the sheen whatever I want. So I'm not worried about whether it's gloss or matte or whatever. So I'm going to pull that out. The other thing I should say, I do have a tendency to curse. So please bear with me if that's something you find offensive. I will try not to, but there's a good chance something might slip out. So just saying. Okay, so yeah, today I just want to, like, get in. I pulled out a bunch of mark making tools, some additional Neo colors, the Stabilo, these are all water soluble. Crayons, I brought out a different brush. This is my favorite round brush to kind of make some different kind of marks. This poor thing, I need to glue it back in. I haven't, so who knows where that's going to go. I brought in a fine liner so I can add in some lines. I just kind of feel like drawing today. I also brought up this fluorescent pink acrylic ink, which is very similar in terms of the fluidity to the high flow, but it reacts a little bit differently. And I thought, okay, you know, this layer, if I've got something super, super bright, that's okay. I'm going to tone it down over time. We're still kind of in the early juvenile stages of this painting. So anything goes, and honestly, anything goes at any stage, but you know, yeah, I'm just going to play with it and go. Kind of the pink is still calling to me. This teal color always calls to me. The gray is calling to me. Some white. I do kind of like this. I want to make sure I keep my darks and maybe do some line work in here. Let's turn it this way. That's not, this is kind of like a, this kind of gives me a little cloud vibe in here. That's kind of interesting. I'm kind of not liking this big pink swath here, but no surprise there. I have a tendency to add things, remove things. I was kind of liking this orientation today. I think this is going to be my orientation today. I'm going to try and keep this straight for you all. I noticed in the video playback that it hasn't been so straight. So yeah, that's where my head is. Still play, still experimentation. Let me take some of this gel out right now. One of the things I noticed yesterday was I spent a lot of time, or what felt like a lot of time, mixing. So let me put some of this stuff out now and not spend quite so much time mixing. It's kind of, let me show you what this looks like. This is kind of what the heavy body paint polymer film is like. It's about that consistency, kind of like, not quite like as fluffy as frosting, but maybe a little bit like peanut butter, maybe, kind of like that. This is my palette clean off page that I've been doing. It dries clear, so I'm just cleaning that off on there. And let's see, what other colors do I want to mix up? I think I want some of, I'm getting low on this cobalt turquoise. I have just a little one, and I've really been enjoying it. I have another color that's similar that I can pull out that will emulate it a little bit. It's a Liquitex color. I'm just going to mix up with this heavy body white paint. Maybe add a little bit of yellow to that. Tone that down just a tiny bit, and a little bit of red. Neutralize that out a little bit. That's making kind of this minty green color, sort of similar to that. So I've got a little bit of that mixed up. I don't have a lot of paint on my palette, really. I just want to, this is what I do when I am cleaning stuff off. I just want to kind of make marks today. That's kind of what I'm feeling. I just kind of want to draw, doodle. It's kind of a low energy kind of day. I didn't sleep real great last night. So there's that. And if I want to throw some paint, maybe I'll just throw it on the canvas. Okay, that's where I am. That's what's in my head. Not a lot on the palette. That's okay. And yeah, here we go. Let me set the timer. I can't think of anything else that I need right now. So I'll be right back. Okay. The first thing I thought about doing is, oh, this is hard to open. Doing some mark making. Let me start with this. I've got these Stabilo. These Stabilo woodies are really fun. I like to put these in any layer, really. But they are water soluble, so you can use them like a crayon. And these Neo colors, I don't know, see, whenever I try to put like a warmish color on here, I don't know if I like that or not. This yellow is a lot cooler. So I'll leave that there for now. I've also got this pinky color, which is also a warm color, which I'm not really loving. And then I've got this color here. And these are all water soluble, like I said. It's really kind of like, let's do a little bit more black. I'll use that fine liner at the end. Sometimes I like to write words as well. This is called dysemic writing, when you write them with an intention, but not in a way that could be read necessarily. And I have a tendency to write the same 3 words over and over again in all my art. Oh, the other thing I should share with you guys, I kind of had a call to add some metallics in here, and I can't decide if it's gold or silver. I'm kind of thinking the silver kind of goes better because, again, the warm stuff still is keeping a cool vibe for me. So we'll see about that in a minute. But let me put some of this on here. I kind of want to do this. A little shape in here. And hopefully my brush won't fall apart. It's so funny how, let's see where this goes. See, these inks work so great as a glaze. And they really just kind of go wherever. And that's what's great about having this under layer part in here. Look at that beautiful purple that made. I really dig that. It kind of unifies it. Like if I want to bring some of this up, having that color in there brings it all together. Let's put some of that up here. I kind of want to get rid of that warmish pink up there. That does not really want to do anything in there. So I'm just going to use my finger. Bring some of that pinky color. Look what it does to that teal. Isn't that pretty? Oh yeah, we're getting into hot mess category already. Okay, paint time. Let's do some of this neutrally color in here. Oh, I've got some oh, look at what it did there. That's that Stabilo underneath, picking that up. It's all kind of dark too. Like I don't have a lot of that's one thing I'm going to be thinking about are my values. Do I have lights? Do I have darks? There's a hair in there. But see how awesome it is when you can come in and scratch into it? And make all these different, the under layers show up, and it helps to break up that color underneath. Oh, Jesus. All right. Well, that was a bit of a fail. Last ditch, just because I've got this paint here and I really want to use it. That's kind of pretty what's going on right here. Covering up a little bit of that shape. Get the sides there. All right, well, the timer is saying it's time. Too much talking, not enough painting. This challenge is getting real, real, real. Okay, let me shut that timer off. I'll be right back. Okay, so I guess I will have to use my paint that I have on my palette on my cleanup sheet, which clearly is a gigantic hot mess as well. This just goes by so fast. While there is wet on here, let me just, you know, gold is what came to me. Let me pop some gold on here. If I hate it, I hate it. I don't have to worry about it. That contrast might be kind of neat. And usually with the metallics, I don't spray water on them. Let's see where this goes. Oh, there's a little heart right there, and another one right there. Thank you, painting. I love you too. Yes, I'm kind of sappy, but that's okay. Okay. So honestly, this weird muckiness is when the magic starts to happen. You know, there's some groovy textures going on. Often what happens with me is I'll be doing something and I'll be like, okay, I just need to make a bold move, and I will just throw something on there, and usually that's when it's like, aha, things are happening here. You know, it's really interesting. This is the second time this ascending pattern has kind of showed up. It showed up with the red that I did at the beginning, and this time it showed up with the gold. Maybe there's a little bit about rising in here in this story. Maybe that's a little bit of what's going on. I kind of dig this color combo in here. And yeah, that's it. 5 minutes done. Yeah, there was so much more I wanted to do, but that's where we are for today. I can't let that sit so linear like that. Let's let that kind of do some stuff in here. And that's what it looks like when you kind of mush it around a little bit. So this is kind of pretty how that came together right there. And you can take things on and you can take things off. So there's that. Okay, y'all. Yeah. Day 6. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Okay. I know I'm over my 5 minutes on my canvas, but I couldn't let this paint go to waste, and I'm kind of having fun experimenting on this piece. So bonus piece, if you'd like, I really wanted to play with this gel medium, this heavy gloss gel, to see if I could get some of the texture and the excavation type characteristics of oil and cold wax. So I took that gray that I used on the other piece and added it to the gel, put it on, and then carved into it with this catalyst tool. And if you see, you can really see the colors. I'm sorry, I bumped that, coming through underneath, and that's what's so cool about it. So I mixed up this really mucky kind of khaki green in here, and another kind of minty. This is way more minty than I wanted it to be. Tealy color. I think I need to put more white in it. It's a little too minty. So the pile that I made that kind of khaki green in, I just added some cobalt teal, not the cobalt turquoise, but the cobalt teal. And still a little bit minty and not quite light enough. Let's try a little bit more here. Oops. Now I've got some in my tube of white. Well, that's bound to happen at some point. All right. I'll just do some of that right there. And mix this up. I have something in mind, y'all, I promise. I know I'm in crazy experimentation mode, but this is how I paint, you know? Like I see these videos, it's funny, these reels on Instagram, and people are doing all these beautiful florals, and it looks just fabulous and lovely, and they just, you know, everything looks great, and every mark they put on just seems to go exactly where they want it to go. And I'm just like, oh, that's just so lovely and beautiful. And then, you know, there's me. Sometimes it's like that. Most of the time it's not. And, you know, it's all good. So I used this on this side with some shorter strokes, but see how this texture, yeah, I think at least right now with what's going on with me in my art, I think I might need to switch to heavy body. I think that's where things want to go. So I'm just getting the paint off of here. And then I'm going to try something. I might like this, I might not. This is a technique that I do when I'm painting with oil and cold wax. Let me get the rest of this off here. Never let paint go to waste. This is so thick and luscious on here right now. So I can carve into this. I can do all sorts of things. Like if I take my skewer, I can do my words that I like. That come across. And then, let's see, where's this one? I guess I can use this one. Oh, I've got wet paint all over this towel. I'm just making a mess everywhere. No surprise. Okay. Then what I do is I take one of these wedges and I just carve into it and see what sort of shapes I can get. I kind of wish I had done this a little bit thicker. So I can go to the side. This is one of my favorite ways to make trees, by the way. Kind of carve into that way. Let's see where that goes. There's something about all these neutrals in here. It's kind of looking like a forest now. That just makes those colors underneath really want to pop out. So that's kind of the effect that I was talking about earlier in terms of carving into something, and kind of seeing what you get that way. Not sure I love that. Just a little bit of haphazard stuff there. But you can see, I don't know if you can see how thick that is, how juicy and luscious. And yeah, this one feels like it's going somewhere now. But all that time, and not even all that time, this is just the clean off page from my palette from the other, but look at, even that looks really cool. All that craziness that's underneath just sort of peeks through. And when this is dry, I can come back and add maybe some white, some Titan Buff, or some white with raw sienna. That would be really pretty. And let it kind of shine through. The other thing I'm getting, I haven't really, there's some Quin Magenta in here, is, of course, I can't end a painting session without throwing some High Flow on there. So let's just do that. Because of, let me get a rag here. Because of the thickness of the paint that's there, when I spritz this with water, I can even hold it up straight. This little paper is the mighty paper that could. It's going to mix into, can you guys see that? I don't know if you can see that. Boy, I'm doing a lot of heart shapes today. That's sending the love out there, folks, for anyone who needs it. And if you need it, you know who you are. Talk about neon. Woo! But see how those neutrals just make the other colors pop. Look, this looks like a little dancing figure right there. And look at this. Oh, this texture right here, that is uber happiness. And then, because why the hell not? Because why wouldn't I? Let's just put a little bit of that on there and see where that takes us. And I will put water on this part. It just kind of stays in all the grooves from that other textured paint. I mean, come on, like, ugh, that just makes me freaking happy. I love to take pictures of my paintings in these stages, and I use them for backgrounds. I've actually started making mugs again, which I had done with my photography. I used to have a little gallery space shop that I shared with some other artists, and I loved having stuff like that in there. I had pillows and all kinds of stuff. I want to start doing that again. I don't have a physical space here. I'm in upstate New York now. And so if I create things like that, I freaking love this. I would need to like put it on Etsy or something. I don't know. See, this is where, like, I feel like that other canvas was just my warm-up, and now I'm painting. So I'm going to let this run a little bit this way. I'm trying to get this gold to closer to the top, but I don't want to add water. Okay, so, I mean, let's just take a moment and appreciate the goodness that the combo of this texture plus the High Flow in all the nooks and crannies. This color combination is making me happy. The neutrals are making these other colors pop. I still get this sort of exuberant kind of figure right here with this heart. This might become something here. This one, we're still working on it. 5 minutes has not been long enough for me to get to something like this. So I will have lots of learnings at the end of this process. But if you stayed for the full length, leave me a heart in the comments, and I've got one right back for you. I hope you have a great rest of your day.